hello, good day. Thanks for coming to Excel Tips and Tricks. I'm Joanne Swenzard and my company is Know It Sooner Computer Training. And I've got some topics in mind today. First, we're going to do some introductions here, and then we're going to get started on the Excel tips. And then I've got some cool next steps for you if you're interested afterwards. Nothing is ever free, is it? I want to tell you about a course that I'm offering, and if you decide to take it further, I will be doing some practice file work today. If you want to follow along, go to knowitsooner.com, rest your mouse on downloads, click on Excel, and wait for which file that I'm going to be doing, because depending on which topic, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 or 5 different ones. So I'm going to bring one up now. And so here I am. I'm in the downloads. Most of them are alphabetical, except for the first couple are not alphabetical. And the one I'm going to bring up is called Names. Now, I will use that one in a minute. I'm not going to do it yet. So I click on it and then it comes up in the corner. It comes down, I guess, in the corner, bottom left-hand corner. And I clicked on Name. And when you do that, it comes up with Enable Editing at the top. Now, if you're using a different browser, then it might come up in the middle of your screen and say, hey, would you like to open this? So whatever, as long as you click on Enable Editing. And then you'll probably want to save it on your computer somewhere, because sometimes it thinks it's still online. So we'll be using this one in a little bit. Okay, good. So let's go back a little bit here to this guy. We're going to do some introductions here. I already introduced myself. I do have a lovely moderator with me today, Stephanie, and she is going to do a few things. She's going to be watching the chat for us. And if there are questions that come up, she's going to take note of them. And periodically I'll be saying, okay, are there any questions from the group? And if we ignore you, it might be because I'm going to get to that. So rather than stopping and answering it, if I know I'm going to get to it, I will keep a little bit of an eye on the chat, but I think you'd prefer that I just blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're going to go into formulas and functions. How many of you love keyboard shortcuts? I'm going to talk about tables. There's some printing stuff and goal seek, not necessarily in this order. There was a handout that I had put up on the site, and it has most of these things in it. It has a lot more of the things in it. It has things that you asked about, like pivot tables, it doesn't have in it. So this is a tips course. They're all different. Every single one of these that I do are different. Okay, I wanted to talk about the site just a little bit first, because one of the questions that I get asked all the time is, can I get an email with this recording later? And so once you got on my site today, that's how you got here. When you log in, you can see which courses you're currently registered for, my courses. So you can see these are the ones that I'm registered for. This is just a kind of a little dummy account. If you click on all courses, here's the one that you're registered for, blah, blah, blah. When you do register for it, you'll be able to get at the link, you'll be able to get at course material. Okay, so there's the materials I was talking about. There's the Zoom link. I usually say within 24 hours, you'll have the recorded link here. So you don't need to worry about emailing me and I missed it or whatever. I do like to edit it a little bit, clean it up a little bit, and then I'll post it here. Okay, there's some course materials. I've got one here that you can download if you want, or you can just go through it. There's all the stuff that I was talking about. And if you want, you can scroll down a little bit more and you can download it. There's a couple of other sheets on there too. Excel print sheet, cheat sheet. If you are printing these, please consider the environment and do it double-sided. There's another one on auto sum, And then I've got one here for purchase. It's big. It's 100 pages long. If you want to purchase it, then you can throw $10 my way and you can purchase it. If you want a nice bound one, then let me know and we can arrange that for you. Okay, so that's where the link is going to be. Last thing about my site, and I want to make sure that everybody knows this. I'm going to go back to the beginning here. There's these things called weekly nuggets. Now, I spend time every single week creating these things. You can see that they're not too long. The one I did yesterday, I haven't posted it yet. I haven't edited it yet. It's, I think, 11 minutes. And I think that was the longest one that I've had. These are incredible. And I try to name them so well so that you're enticed to, to go in there and read about them, right? You're like, oh, I'm good with PowerPoint. Oh my gosh, go and look anyway. There might be some things that you're missing. These are free. So go in every week. I'll probably take a break here over Christmas and summer and stuff. But anyway, I wanted to make sure that everybody knows about them. There's no use in me spending time on it if nobody's working with it. Okay, good. So any questions before we get started? Sorry to give you a little bit of that, but I wanted to make sure you guys are all interested in learning more. So why not make sure you have access to everything? Okay, so you can see my trip planner spreadsheet. That's one I'm going to be working with for just a few minutes here. We're going to go and do some really simple formulas here, and we're going to play with autofill, and I'm going to show you a little bit about something called Goal Seek. So I am planning a trip for whenever we're going to be able to travel again, and I want to figure out what my costs are going to be. I've estimated $4,000. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go, how much is my flight going to be? Well, it's 2 tickets at $350. So maybe that's return, right? For me by myself or something. So I'm going 2 times 350. So I'm going to go equals. I'm going to click on the 2, and my multiplication symbol is the asterisk. And then I'm going to click on the 350, and I'm going to press enter. How cool is that? Equals, click on the cell. What do I want to do? Multiply, divide. What do I want to do? I want to multiply. What did I want to do it by? There's the price, and enter. That's how easy formulas can be. They're not always that easy, but this is a very simple formula, 2 times 350. Okay. Then I can drag it down, little black cross. I'm going to drag it all the way down to miscellaneous, even though I don't have anything in these cells yet. Think about that. How far down do I want to go? Then I'm going to figure out the tax, and I'm going to go equals 700, and I'm going to go times 5%. And I just type the 5% in because it's not anywhere, right? It's not in a cell somewhere. $35, that looks about right. Here's a tip for you. Are you ready? I could drag it down. Or when I have that black cross, I could double click, and that shoots that formula all the way down until the last row before the blank row. So even if you use that black cross every day, now that might be something a little bit handier for you. This has to be empty though. It has to be blank. A lot of people don't even have that. They just have total cost right underneath. And so then it's not going to really work that well. We're going to talk about when we do sorting that doesn't work well either. This one, I'm not going to do a sum. I'm just going to add these 2 things up. So equals this plus that. Enter. How easy is that? Yay. Super easy. Thank you. Okay, good. Kind of ugly numbers, but that's okay. We're going to fix that. So I want to show you a keystroke here. I want you to look at your keyboard right now. Look at the number 1. Does anybody know what I'm going to do here? How can I show my formulas? Does anybody know that? Some of you have been on, Stephanie knows. Some of you have been on my courses before. How can I see all my formulas? Well, one way is just to click and look up in my formula bar. The other way is to display all my formulas by using the little tilde, the little squiggle. I'm going to type it here so you know what to look for. Do you see that over here in column I? That guy? I'm going to hold my control key down and hit squiggle. And I can see here that those are all my formulas. And when I click on it, it actually shows me which cells are being used in the formula. So this is great for troubleshooting. Now, don't start fixing your columns or anything because they'll go back. Naturally, they'll go back. So I'll control squiggle again and do one more thing here and just make my screen a little bit smaller just because it makes it easier later to see everything. Sorry, there is a show desktop button that I could have used. Okay. The way Zoom works is my picture will cover that part of the Excel screen, and I didn't really want that. Okay, that's part of the stuff I'll edit out later. Okay, so that works well. Now notice when I did the control squiggle that it's not exactly the same formula. So when I did the first one, it was B4 times C4, and then I did that autofill, and I went all the way down. And it just knows that I want it to change to row 5 and row 6 and eventually row 10. These are called relative references. B4 is relative. I want it to change to B5 and B6. C4 is relative. I want it to change as well. Once in a while, we don't want it to change. So here's where we're going to talk about absolute references. So what if over here I had the GST rate and I have 5%? 5% is the GST rate. So remember when we were over here and we just typed the 5% in? Well, what if it changed? Or what if we're splitting it in half, 2.5% or whatever, right? Like I want some control over that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select those and just press delete. Delete is always a better key than backspace for deleting too. I'm just going to undo that for a second. Why do I say that? Delete just cleared it out, left the formatting. Backspace, it just does it on the first one. And a lot of people will go down arrow, backspace, down arrow, backspace. How many of you have done that? I'm going to hit escape to come out of that. So select and delete. Okay. And if you're on a Mac, you'll have to figure out what the equivalent of delete is because I think you only have one backspace. I think it's command delete or something, whatever. You have to figure that out. There's always at least one Mac person on my call. Equals, I'm still going to go to the 700, but instead of typing the 5% in, I'm going to go over here and grab the 5% over here, J4. That should work great, right? Because then I can go here and I can say, oh, what if it's 2.5%? Now this is a problem. I type 2.5 and in my formula bar, it's telling me it's 2.5, but here it's saying 3. That's because if I go back to home here, I can go increase decimal. When it's formatted as a percent, it hates to give us the decimal places. Okay, we're going to use these buttons to format in a bit. Okay, so it is really 2.5%. That's great. It changed it, didn't it? That's so great. I have so many spreadsheets I can go back and do this with. Watch what happens though when I drag it down. Oof, what did it do? What happened to it? I'm going to control squiggle that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that we can still see way over here. Maybe I'll just delete a column. That might help. So there's my 2.5%. Look what it's doing. The first one is taking my subtotal times this guy. My second one is taking my subtotal. That's good. Oh, look what it's doing. Oh my gosh, it's doing the same thing. It's going down. We don't want it to go down. We want it to stay on that I4, right? We want it to stay there. So why is it doing that? Because we didn't tell it not to. So I'm going to control squiggle again. Does that make sense? I'm going to use my control key and my wheel on the mouse to bring it up closer. And all we have to do with that is we have to click behind it. And that's an I4, not a, I hate that. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to show you about moving a cell. I'm going to take that, see where my cursor is on I4. I'm going to click and drag it. Bam. So if you drag it when you're clicked on one of those borders, that's a cool way to click and to move it. Cool way to move it. Okay. So now it's H5. If I don't like where something is, I just move it. Anyway, now all these are I5 and I6. Oh no, they're not yet. Boom. Now they are. H6, H7. Still, I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click behind it and I'm going to press my F4 key. Now the F4 puts all these weird little dollar signs in it. That's its way of telling it, please don't move H5. Like I don't want H6 and H7. Don't do it. It's an absolute reference, not a relative. The D4 is relative and the H5 is absolute. Does that make sense? So that's what you're going to have to do if you want to use this kind of a setup. Oh, really? It's 5% now? So watch the 17.5. I'm going to go 5, enter. Yay! Oh, now it's 4%. Okay. Oh, it's 0? Okay. Oh, it's 10? Okay. Isn't that cool? You can just sit there and play with that forever. So think about that. And then it doesn't have to be a rate, like a percent. It could be a money value too, right? It could be a price of something. It could be an hourly wage or something like that. Some of you work for law firms, so maybe it's an hourly rate, or maybe it's a surcharge of some kind. How did I move the 5%? I click on it and watch, Angela, where my cursor is right now. It's got to be that little four-headed arrow. If I'm in the middle, it won't work. If I'm on the bottom right-hand corner, it won't work. Those all do something different. So when I'm on the sides or any of the green parts, then I can just drag it. So one of those handouts, I think it's called Excel Cursors and AutoSum, that has on one of the sides, it has all of these different little cursors. Yeah. Okay. So you can consider using that. Any questions about absolute references? Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of, I'm going to add this up. So I want to know what the total costs are. And if you want, you can type, but who likes easy here? Who likes easy? I like easy. So I'm going to click where I want my answer to go. And this is what I'm not going to do, equals this, plus this, plus this. Why would I not want to do that besides the fact that it'll take me way too long? I'm probably only going to go to row 10. What happens if I insert something on row 11? I want everything in the middle of this to change, to be included. So I'm going to click on where I want my sum to go. And I'm going to click on this little auto sum button up here at the top. Click. And it actually guesses what I want. It says, would you like from D4 to D11? It is including the bottom one there because I wanted to. We want to do that because later we could go to row 11 and insert. So equal sum D4 to D11. What do you think I can do with that? I can drag it across. And here's my number here. $2,624 is what my total is. Wow, I've got lots of money. Lots of room. Okay, so that's an auto sum. Now, it didn't have to do anything here. It was so easy. Click, auto sum, it guesses, hit enter. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the tax just in case you want to put the total somewhere different. So I'm going to click and I'm going to go auto sum. Oh, look what it's guessing at. It's wrong. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select the numbers. So would you like E4 to E11? Yes, I do. Enter. And I know it gives me the same number, but I have some rounding issues on here. But that's what you do. You click, you hit it, you hit auto sum, you drag, you press enter. And by the way, these tips sessions, I'm not expecting that you're sitting there going back and forth and trying these things out with me because I'm talking way too fast for that. I feel you might be fine with it, but if you're thinking at the end of this, oh my gosh, I never got a chance to do it at all. A lot of people will just watch right now, maybe ask some questions, make some notes, and you'll all get a copy of the recording later in the same spot. Like I mentioned, you can watch it again and you can stop it and you can try it out and okay, that worked for me, or no, that didn't. I'm going to rewind it and try it again. Okay, I got it. Okay, let's move on, kind of thing. So in order for me to do everything I planned today, then I have to keep up the pace here. Okay, so this one here, I'm going to go difference is the 4,000 minus that number equals 4,000 minus this guy. Enter. So it says I have $1,375 left and looks like 1 penny. Okay, let's do some formatting here. I'm going to go over here, grab all my prices. Oh, I'd like to grab this one too. Oh, but if I click on it, then I stop these ones. I don't really want the quantities to have dollar signs in front of them. So I'm going to select all of these. And here's a tip. How can I get this guy as well? I'm going to hold my control key down and click on it. You can see that it kind of changes color a little bit. It means that it is selected. And I'm going to simply click on the dollar sign button on my toolbar. And all of the things that I had selected, they all go to the same number of decimal places, and they all have dollar signs, and my zeros turn up as dashes. Okay, question here. What if for some reason you wanted the total flight cost somewhere else on your spreadsheet? So the contents of cell F4. F4. Oh, so that's a good question. Because I already have a formula in there, I don't have to redo the formula. I can just go anywhere and say, okay, flight cost. I don't have to. I always like little labels. And then click, click, enter. So that's basically how you link a cell. And it's the same as if it was on a different cell, a different sheet. So you can hit the plus. No, I'm not going to do a new sheet. Let's say that I'm going to go over here. We're going to head over here right away. And I can say the flight, okay, equals sheet 1, cell F4. Oh, I mean, I could have went down here too, but whatever. Enter. So really it's almost like a formula. It really is a formula because it starts with equals. So it is a formula. It just doesn't do anything. Equals that cell. It doesn't add it or multiply it or anything. Yeah. Good. Okay. So that's a little bit about that. As far as formatting goes, I have this one here called Formatting Practice. It is ugly. And I use these 3 buttons, the dollar, the percent, and the comma, to tell it what kind of number it is. And then I use the decimal places if I don't like what these 3 buttons give me. So this is just a screen print on the right. Principal is $24,000. Oof, that doesn't look very nice. I'm going to click on the dollar sign. Beautiful. Okay, interest rate, 0.12. I don't like that very much. I want it to be like that, 12.00%. If I click on percent, okay, it's kind of nice, but what if I made it 11.5? It does the same thing it was doing before, right? So it doesn't give me the right number of decimal places. So I need to go here and hit increase, increase. Because what if it was 11.25? What about the loan term? 60.00. I'm going to hit my comma there. So dollars for money, percents for percents, and comma basically for everything else. So I'm going to select all these guys. I want them to be percents, percent. I don't like it. Increase, increase. These guys here, they should be money, dollar sign, done. Beautiful. Oh, just about done. Dollar sign. I've got a little date up here. Look at it over here. It's a little bit nicer because sometimes with 4/19/16, I kind of know that it's April 19th, but what if it was 4/5/02? How do I know what's what? So I can click on that. I'll make that a little bit bigger. I'll click on that. Oops. And I'll go right here. And you might go right click format cells, or you can click right here. Hopefully you can see that. Now I'm going to go here to custom, because in date, you do have some there, but I want to make my own. So I'm going to go custom. I'm going to get rid of all of that. And I'd like my month first, MMM. Look up here, it says APR. Space, DD, space, and then 4 Ys, 3 or 4 Ys. and then I click OK. There it is. So if I go here and I type something like 8/9/98, enter, that is much easier than typing AUG. Now, why did it interpret my 8 as an August? Because on my computer, that's how I'm configured. So if I look at in the bottom right-hand corner of my computer right now, it says 12/11/20. That tells me 12 is the 12th month. It's a good thing I'm not doing this tomorrow because it would be 12/12/20. So sometimes you can't really do that. I'll do another one, 7/19. And here's a tip for you, 7/19, enter. Hey, if you don't put any year in, then it defaults to this year. Wow, how many keystrokes did I just save you on that one? 7/28, enter. Oops, I was on the wrong spot. Oh, actually, that's a really good thing because when I did that, it formatted it as a date. What happens later? Tell me if this has ever happened to you. I use this for something else. 1000, enter. Have you ever typed a number in and it gives you a date? Come on, people. Tell me that that has happened. I bet that has happened. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to use this little eraser up here. And I'm going to say clear formats. Clear formats. Gives me my 1000 back. I could have said clear all, but then I would have had to type my 1000 back in. So that's what you can do. Anyway, that's a little bit about dates. Any questions so far on that?
Yes, we just had a question from Bob here. He asked, and I think this was more pertaining to the stuff we were previously looking at, but he said, what version of Excel do you need? And I said, most versions of Excel support this, but I said that you could clarify because you're the expert.
Most of the stuff we're doing today, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I'm using Office 365, which is the latest, greatest one. But yeah, so far, I don't think that anything I've done in the last, I think in the last 10 years of Excel, I think that most of these things have been done. Their screen might look a little different, but yeah. Good. Thank you. Okay. I want to show you autofill. You know what? I'm going to show you while we're here, because I don't want to come back to this screen. I'm going to show you goal seeking. This is going to be the greatest thing in the world. Okay. So this is more of an advanced thing. I think it's at the end of your handout, actually. So let's say we've got $1,300 left from our, to spend on our trip. Let's say we're going to go here and like just miscellaneous for 7 days. Let's say $100 maybe. Okay. That takes us to, now we only have $640, but man, we want to go to a couple of shows. Let's say we're going to Las Vegas. We want to go to a couple of shows. Well, what is a show usually worth? And we don't want to get into exchange rates and things like that, but let's say that a show is $100. Now, you might be able to, figure this out. How many shows are we going to be able to go to using $100? But I want you to see how smart it is. Okay, so I'm going to put the price in, but then I'm going to tell it to figure out how many shows we can go to. Okay, so can you guys guess? Would it be 6? Would it be 7? 7 is going to be like $700. It's going to be over, right? 6 is going to be $600. It's maybe, right? So I'm going to just tell it to do it. So here's the steps to do that. It doesn't really matter where you click for a change. I'm going to go to my data tab and I'm going to go what if analysis, and I'm going to go goal seek. Have any of you guys ever been in here? This is the coolest thing ever. I teach this in my Excel Beyond the Basics class. What do I want to do? I want to set cell this guy to what value? 0. I want to use up all my money by changing what cell? This guy. Think about that. So the first cell must be a formula and the other cell can't be a formula. So it's actually going to stick a number in here for us. Does that make sense? Set cell F16 to 0 because we want to use up all our money by changing B9. And I'm going to leave this there for a second because I want you to think it through. I'm going to click OK. Wow. Look at that. How many of you think that's absolutely amazing? Please tell me that's amazing. Okay. Now, good luck finding 6.09 shows to go to. But what I would probably do to that is I would probably do some kind of a rounding thing to round that down. And I said cancel, but if I had said okay on that, then it would have put that actual number in there. So when can you use that? Give me some examples, you guys, while I steal a drink so I don't lose my voice. I love the exclamation marks, you guys. That helps me. Budgeting. Anybody do budgeting? Does anybody do any budgeting? When you do budgeting, you might be, well, I mean, what are we doing here? We kind of are doing budgeting, right? What if these were all your expenses for your department? Gee, I have a budget of $4,000. You know, how many projects can I start, right? Okay. All right, Steph, do we have any questions that we need to cover before we go on?
Yes, we just had a question here from Rock and Rochelle. How do you fix it when you have a sum and then you insert a row and it doesn't add up?
Ah, that is so good. And I missed that. Thank you. I'm going to control squiggle. I bet your formula, Rock and Rochelle, does not have something like this, like the blank row. I mentioned earlier, some people don't even have that blank row. So if yours was equal sum D4 to D10, and then you were inserting a row outside that range, it's not going to update this. So what you can do is you can click on it. You can click on the row, any row between 4 and 11. So how about 11? And insert, and go back to home and insert. Notice how I'm selecting these. I'm going to row 11 here, and I'm going up to insert here, or right click insert. It doesn't ask me about moving cells around or anything. Now, if I do a control squiggle, it automatically goes to row 12. Now, there is a way you can do this without a row, and I'm going to show you without always having a blank row, Rochelle, but that involves doing a table. And we're going to cover that in just a little bit. Okay. And the example might be, what if I'm up here? Do I have one here? Not in this spreadsheet, but sometimes you'll see in some of my spreadsheets that I have the total up here. I don't want to scroll down to the bottom and look for it. I have it up here. So what am I to do? I'm here to go sum, select. What do I do here? Do I select that? I don't want to always have to, I just want to go to the bottom of it. So that is not that great here. So I wouldn't do that here. I would do a table, and I'll get to that right away. Good. Okay. Any other questions before we go on? You're going to love this, Rochelle.
It doesn't look like we had any other questions.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go to the autofill practice. Now, autofill and flash fill. I'm going to go here. Now, we did the black cross already once. I'm just going to zoom out. I should be good at zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to go to January. How many of you have typed February, March, April? Now you might have done this already. Black cross, drag it. I'm going to go 13 columns over so you can see what happens when it gets to the end. It just restarts. Mind blown for anybody? Please say yes. You always get this little guy at the end of it as soon as you finish doing it. Because when you get that, it offers you some choices here. This is great, January, February, March, but what if I just wanted a bunch of Januaries? Then you could copy cells. Okay, there's all your Januaries. You can get a little bit fancy with that with the formatting as well, On this one, I'm going to make it yellow and centered and bold and maybe a little bit bigger. I'm going to drag it across. So it does something different this time. It gives me the short versions of the month, as well as down here, it offers me some choices, Jan, 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 if I wanted to copy, or fill formatting only. So I didn't fill it. That one's kind of like the little paintbrush. Some of you might know about that. Or I could fill it without formatting. Look at that one. It kind of does the opposite. So I'll fill it in for you, but I only want that first one to be formatted. Fill months on this case is the same as fill series. Does the same with Monday. I'm just going to go through these really quick. There is one extra thing in here. Fill weekdays. Look at how it got rid of the Saturday and the Sunday. So it'll do the same with this one. Quarter one, just as a couple of them here. It knows that there's only 4 quarters, so it restarts at 1. Class 1, I can use any word in the whole world, and it'll do that for me. Project 1, project 2, phase 1, phase 2, unit 1, unit 2, and it doesn't have to start with a 1. It can start with 101. When I go 101, 102, 103. So the default is that it does it 1 by 1. Okay, I'm going to give you one here. It says 1000. It doesn't know what to do. So it just gives me a whole bunch of 1000s. Now, first time is doing a copy cells. I'm going to go fill series this time to see what it does. That's interesting. It increments it by 1. Is that what you might have thought it would do, you guys? Or how many of you thought it might do 2,000, 3,000? Well, you can train it to do just about anything you want if you type the first 2 in. And this could be text. This could be something like January and March, right? Maybe you want every second month. Maybe you want every second day. You just select the 2 of them then. Let go. And I say it like this because a lot of people will do this with the white cross. They'll just go, wee. That does nothing. You need to select them, let go, and go and grab the little black autofill cross and drag over. And look at that. Let me do this one. January and March, select them, let go, grab the corner. There you go. If I would have went April, January and April, that it would have given me the first month of each quarter, right? Who's liking that? So you could even do that with people's names. Claire, Joanne, Steph. Okay. Select, 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 select. Do. So anything you want to repeat. Cool. Dates work a little. Oh, I'm going to do this one. I like Excel is great on this one because there are some column width problems here. How do you fix the column width? Hey, column A looks pretty good. Column B, I could go up between the B and the C. Watch my cursor, double click, or I could click and drag. Here's how to do them all at the same time. C and D look pretty good. The rest of them are horrible. I'm going to go to E and I'm going to drag. And notice I'm way up at the top. E, F, G. I'm way up at the top. And I usually go to the last one and I double click. And it fixed them all for me. Fixed them all. All needed are as big as they need to be. Okay, the last autofill is dates. This one has the most options. Look at them all. Days, that's what it did. Or weekdays. Or months. January 1st, February 1st, March 1st. Or years. January 1st, 2014, 2015, and so on. And then we could format them if we wanted. So please play with that one when you get back. There's also one that happens, one called flash fill, when you do an autofill. And I'm going to leave this spreadsheet and I'm going to bring up the names one. So if you are following along with me, then you can bring up the names one. Any questions?
Yeah, Claire had a question here, but I think we're probably gonna address it in this segment. But she said, another question is setting up alphabetical lists with names. How do we set that up?
Okay. That
So
might
that
be
would,
that might be a sorting question as well. So we'll cover that here too.
yeah.
Okay. So what we want here, actually, I'm going to move over here to my first name. What I want here is I want to split these up. How could I ever sort this by last name? And sometimes they come in this way. Maybe you copied and pasted from somewhere. So watch what's going to happen here. I'm going to go Spencer and I'm going to autofill. It just gives me a bunch of Spencers, right? If I go into here and I say flash fill, what did it just do? How smart is Excel? Come on, you guys. That is so smart. Now, once in a while, it will disappoint you, but it's usually pretty good. So I'll keep going on that. I'm going to put C period. I'm going to double click to make it go all the way down. And then I'm going to go to the little guy at the bottom and go flash fill. And what do you think it's going to do on the last one? Hemingway. Also, how important is spelling here? What do you think if I spelled Hemingway wrong? So some homework for you. Go back and try this out. This one you want to try right away so you don't forget it. Yeah. So it's not that picky about the order of things either. All right. So Claire's question about sorting, I think that's what it was. So really what I can do here is I could just delete A and B because these are not formulas. So that's not relying on the originating column. So I've got some dates here. I've got some stuff here. I would like to sort them in alphabetical order. Now it's nice because I don't have any blank row here between row 1 and 2. And how many of you have that? No, not allowed, not allowed. Well, it doesn't work as well. I should never say what's allowed and what's not allowed, but it doesn't work as well. And I think that you're liking my tips. So you might be interested in why. Okay. How hard is this to sort? I'm going to click anywhere in my last name field. Here's a keystroke for you. Control A. Control A selects your data. If I scroll down, I can see it doesn't go past row 29. So it's a little bit different than clicking and, on your columns, or somebody might click way up here. That selects way too much stuff. So click in the middle of it and Control A. And if there's no blank rows and no blank columns, it'll select it all for you. So I actually don't even have to do that, but you might go back and test your data to see what is all being selected here. Because if I don't do that, I have to fix my screen here again. If I don't do that, then that means that all I have to do is go over to the right-hand side and go sort and filter and sort A to Z. And notice that my cursor is in column C. It's in column C. So I'm going to go sort A to Z. Look what it did. Where's Hemingway? There's Spencer. The whole thing moved. The whole thing moved. Oh, you want it by first name again? Okay. Click on, I don't even think it was on first name. Click on your first one, or not on your first one. Click in the first column somewhere. Do not select sort A to Z. And it's first name now. Where's Spencer? Make sure that all his stuff moved. Yes. So sometimes when we're selecting, we might miss a column. Now, if you go into sort now, all those dates aren't going to come with it. So you actually don't want to select, because that would be like scrambled eggs, wouldn't it? That'd be horrible. Okay. So that's a little bit about sorting. While we're on that topic, I'm going to make this into a table, and we're going to be able to do some cool things. I'm going to do, I'll do that in a second. I don't have to do Control A because I know that this one is really set up nicely. I'm going to go Control T. Control T makes this a table. It says, where's the data? That's the same range as Control A gave us. I'm going to say, make this a table. My table has headers. That first row is not data, not a name or something. It's headers. Then click OK. It makes it really nice looking. You've got this table design at the top. If I click here, I've got some different little designs that I can do. And I even have a little sort button at the top of each column. And in our other courses, we go into filtering and stuff like that. But this is going to be nice because when I go to the bottom or when I go to the side, let's say that I'm going to put, I don't know, their cost, how much they cost. Look at that. I typed cost and it formatted it beautifully. And I'm going to select them all. And here's a quick way to select. I can just go to the top of the cost. And notice I'm not on column I, I'm actually on the top of cost. It's only selecting what I have there. And I'm going to say that everybody's getting charged $100 as a default. I'm going to go, if I just go 100 and enter, it's just going to do it for that one, right? So I'm going to go 100 and I'm going to go Control Enter. So think about that. Now I could have done 100 and then auto-filled it, but think about if I was doing it over here, 200, Control Enter, bam. How much auto-filling did that just save? Or maybe all of these people, they've all paid. So put paid, Control Enter. That's in your handout as a little data entry thing. But I'll just maybe change a couple of them up here. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to show you about doing an auto sum. So I'm going to select here. I want to do 2 rows. So I'm going to select a couple and I'm going to hit insert. That gives me 2 blank rows. I wanted 2, so I selected 2. I'm going to go total here. And I think it was Rock and Rochelle's question about always having a blank row. Okay, well, this isn't like this. I don't want to go down to the bottom and put it down here. I want it at the top. Thank you very much. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go auto sum. Click where I want it to go, auto sum. Now it looks a little different this time. I could select them all, or I could just click at the top. It says equal sum table 1 cost. Enter. So that not only saved me from selecting all of those cells, but it's not kind of hard coding I4 to I31. You still need to know that information later. You need to know that information in case you can't make yours into a table. But because of this, so remember 30, 50, I'm going to go down to the bottom. I'm going to put my name in, blah, 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 blah. What was it, 30, 50? So if I go 1,000, that should throw it right off, shouldn't it? Enter. Look how it copied the formatting down. 4,050. So if you make it into a table and then just use the name of the column in the formula, that's going to be much easier, isn't it? So do that one more time. I'll do an average. Average. Ugh, I spelled it horrible. Double click to get rid of that. Hate that. Okay, I want the average there. What is my average cost? I'm going to go beside the auto sum. I'm going to go to average. Oh, it's guessing. It's horribly wrong. I'm going to click at the top of cost, not right on cost, because it just thinks it's that cell then. But right at the top, look for that little black arrow and enter. Now, there's so many other things that we can do with this, you guys. We talk for about 40 minutes about a table in our Word Beyond the Basics course. Excel Beyond the Basics and Excel Essentials. But that's just a little bit of an idea that you can do with that. So any questions about tables?
Can you just show one more time where do you find flash fill?
It's only going to appear when, let's see if it appears here, when it detects, it's on an autofill. So I just did B. Sometimes will it pick it up? Oh my gosh, it did. So it picked it up when I went here. So the answer to the question is here. If it's a number or something it's that you're autofilling, it probably won't work. Or it probably won't show. No, it does show, but it's probably not going to do anything. And it'll tell us that. Good? Okay. I wanted to show you just a little bit about printing as well. And the one I'm going to use for this is called Absolute and Functions Practice. And it's one that we use in our courses. And I like to use the sheet called Number One Completed for this. So it's a little bit of a bigger sheet. It's about 64 rows long, and it's a little bit wide, goes A to L. And so what do you think would happen if I wanted to print this? It's probably going to give me a hard time. It says it's on 4 pages. Ick. There's my addresses and stuff. If I go to the next, ick. I don't have any headings across the top. If I go to the next one, ick. So this is like side by side, right? So how many of you have those going on? I bet you do. So I joke in my classes because I tell people, well, stop being so lazy. Just get out the scissors and the tape and tape your printout together. And then I say, I'm just kidding. So here's some things that we can do. And there is a handout on this. Probably the most common thing is to make it landscape orientation. That helped, but it's still 4 pages. If I go to page 3, I still have a couple columns left over. That didn't help that much. And the other thing that I could do is I could make it fit columns, not rows necessarily. You don't necessarily want it to do 1 page. That's probably going to be a little bit too small because there's a lot of people, like a lot of rows here. So if I go fit all columns on 1 page, now it's a nice 2-pager. What did it have to do though? It did have to shrink it a little bit. And me, I like to see everything as big as possible. So I'm going to show you one other little tip there. It's probably not as quick, but it might be worthwhile for you. I'm going to go to the bottom right-hand corner, and I hope you can see that. I'm going to do that to my screen again so that just in case. Sometimes the Zoom screen goes right over top of where I'm talking about, and then you can't see it and I have to edit it and yuck. So down in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little button that says Show Margins. Come on, you. Show Margins. There we go. You see it? Bottom right-hand corner, Show Margins. If I click on it, it shows me on my column what's the top. And then down here, I'm going to drag it a little bit. So I'm on the bottom left-hand corner. That's my left margin. And I drag my right margin a little bit to the right. And if I drag it far enough, it's giving me a bit of a hard time because I have this weird OneNote printer selected. If I choose any other printer, then it's nicer to me. There we go. There, look at that. So I just did a little bit on each end so that we have, we're not going all the way over on one, but that allows us, I'm going to turn off my margins. How many of you even knew that button was there? I didn't know for the longest time. Me clicking around, I think I was scrolling one time and I hit it by mistake and said, hey, what's that? And now I didn't have to do the fit all columns, but guess what I did anyway? I turned it on anyway, fit all columns, because if one day I'm here and I make my column bigger or I insert a column, I could very easily bump it back to being on 4 pages, couldn't I? Yes, I could. So it's going to have to shrink, but at least it's better than going over onto the other page. Last thing I'll show you about that is how to get things to go over, the titles to go over. I'm going to go into page layout and I'm going to go print titles. Rows to repeat at the top. I'm going to click on row 7. And I'm going to leave columns to repeat at the left just for a minute. I'm going to go print preview, and we're going to just see here, there's page 1. It doesn't look any different. There's page 2. There's my things at the top. What else does that do? If I selected a whole bunch of things and I go file print, I can go in here and I can say print selection. Look what it does. It prints whatever I have selected as well as the titles. So I didn't have to select the titles. So that's pretty cool. Okay. And finally, the columns. How would I print A and B? Because it's the names and let's say social insurance numbers. If I did the same, if I selected my social insurance numbers and went file print, yuck. What would look better? I go into print titles and I go columns to repeat at the left and I go A and B. So my rows are row 7 and my columns are A and B. And now when I select my social insurance numbers, and if it was a table, it would be way easier to select. Look at that, A and B and social insurance numbers. So you don't have to hide. You don't have to hide the columns in between. Yeah. And if it's not printing what you like, down on the bottom right-hand corner, you've got your 3 views, normal, and the middle one is page layout, and the third one is page break preview. I'm going to go into that one, and I'm going to drag these little blue lines, and that's how you can tell it what to print and what not to print. And then when you hit save, it saves it like that. So it'll never print rows 1 to 6 ever again, unless I select them and make them print. And then I'm going to go back to normal. There's lots of different ways to set your print area. I don't like this one up here though, because it's way more work, and I like things easy. I feel like I've just been blabbing and blabbing, and I actually have. Any questions about that? I see people are dropping off because they have other meetings and things. I might have muted you guys because I heard some background. I wanted to just take, and in case you're typing questions, I'm going to blab for a second. I wanted to let you know that I do have 2 courses. One is the Excel Beyond the Basics. It's recorded. It's 10 hours. I've had it forever. And I have a brand new course offering that is pretty much the same as Excel Beyond the Basics, and it's 4 hours. And I'm doing it live. So some people like the live sessions like this. And by the way, for these sessions, I slow down. I say, okay, now you guys go try that. A little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, just because there's so much information that I want to pack in those hours, and you always get a chance to do them over again. Both of these courses are normally $149 each. I am doing a Christmas special here. It doesn't say when this expires, but it expires next Friday. So this expires next Friday. So that would be December the 18th. All right. So you want to get on this, use that coupon code. There is also a basics course. It's 3 hours. And if you wanted to take that one, then you can as well. But this course just now is pretty much everything in my basic course, including a lot of extra tips. So if you want to just, whoa, you got to slow down and go back, then you might want to start with the basic one where we go through the different cursors in Excel and things like that. So either of those courses, they're available. The recorded one, you could start this afternoon if you wanted to. And also the tips and tricks course that you just watched, if you're interested in bringing that to your office, virtual probably at this time, I would come in and do that. And I have done that because sometimes people, the date doesn't work for them, or they want specific things done. And I've done that for a lot of user groups too. I just did one for APEGA, the Association of Professional Engineers, and I did one for them. Those ones aren't free because I do have to pay my bills. But ones like this, I'm hoping to promote these other 2 courses. So please share, and thank you guys for coming on. If you have any other questions and you don't mind sticking around for a couple of minutes, I'll be happy to answer your questions. Is there any other?
Bob Harrison just asked, do you accept e-transfers? And I wasn't 100% sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I actually kind of prefer those because then I don't have to pay merchant fees. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if any of you are interested in that, or maybe you go back and say, wow, I want my whole team to go on these courses, and I don't like when the timing is, we'll do a custom one for you. We did 2 of them last month, which was incredible. One of the groups signed up for 6 half-day sessions. So they wanted right from the beginning, right to Beyond the Basics recorded. So we did 6 half days, 6 3-hour sessions. So, talk to me about it and find out what you want. I do one-on-ones as well if you just need coaching on certain areas. Hey, Louise. Been forever. And Natalie, good to meet you. Okay, any other questions? I'm seeing lots of thank yous. Thank you guys for coming. These are a lot of promotion and work, and it takes me about 3 days to type that email, that bulk email. So I'm glad I had so many people that that wanted to come on to this. So please let me know if you have any other questions. You can email me or give me a call. I think you all have my information.